What's up, y'all? So it's what are we at? March 1st. We're like literally at the tail end of Q1 in 2025, and we have an event that we're hosting today. And I'm just up here, kind of getting my thoughts together. And one of the things that I've seen over my life over the last few years is the moments and circumstances in my life where I had choices and I made certain decisions based off of my perspective. And I've come to terms with the idea or the concept that there's really three different options that we each have in our life. And it's in every area of our life, right? Let's just say, for example, you look at your life and your fitness. There's a certain reality about your fitness right now, okay? It's either you are in the best shape of your life, meaning when you walk up a flight of stairs, your breath or your heart rate, returns to normal in the quickest amount of time that it ever has in your life, okay? I mean, really, to be in shape, that's what I forget the term. I'll see if I can post it on here, but it's a heart rate variability, I believe, is where if you were to go run and chase someone, or if, I saw a video, I believe it was either in Orlando or Brazil. They're kind of the same place right now. But something was taking place in a mall and people were running. And, chairs were falling, and I don't know if it was like an active shooter or something. I don't know. But when I look at being in shape, I look at if something were to happen while I'm in the mall with my family, and I had to exert energy to run or to move or to do something active, the question becomes, how quickly can my heart rate return to normal, right? And so if I walk up a flight of steps and it takes me forever for my heart rate to return to normal, that's a sign that I'm probably out of shape. And so if I look at my life and I say, right now, this is the shortest that it's ever been, I would consider myself the most in shape that I've ever been, right? And so we look at our lives, we say, hey, I'm either in really good shape or I'm not in shape, right? I either have a great, marriage or a terrible marriage, right? I either am successful financially or I'm not successful, right? So we all have these realities that are happening in our lives. Now, I believe we all have two choices, but one choice has a 1A and a 1B, right? So it ends up being really three decisions. The first choice is to ignore it and say, nah, man, I'm not in bad shape, right? I know it took me, 6 minutes to get my heart rate back down to normal, but it just is what it is. And I don't want to accept that is true. That's the first option. The second option is to accept it, to accept the truth, right? Like, I'm out of shape. My relationships aren't as good as I'd like them to be. My finances aren't as good as they like to be. Whatever that reality is, I can choose to accept it. Here's the caveat though. The reason why a lot of us choose choice one, to not accept it, is that when we choose to accept it, the lens that we have on the world will determine how I react to the acceptance of that, right? So for example, if I accept that I'm out of shape, I can get discouraged and say, man, see, I'm out of shape. I was never meant to be in shape. This is a curse on my life. It's because my parents were out of shape and their parents were out of shape, and this is just bad for me. And this is confirming that I'll never be in shape. See, I knew it. So I don't want to confirm that perspective. If that's the perspective that I have, what I'll do is I'll reject the truth. So I'll reject the truth, not because I'm naive or not because I'm afraid. I don't want to confirm the bias that I have on my life that says I'll be out of shape for the rest of my life, right? Here's the difference though. My perspective on life, if I have a perspective that says, hey, the truth of me being out of shape, that's a blessing because it's awareness to me, so I can rise above it and get in shape, right? Because I cannot get in shape if I'm not willing to accept that I'm out of shape, okay? And so I first have to be willing to accept where I am, but the perspective I have on that is looking at that truth or reality as a blessing, not something to condemn me, not something to discourage me, but something to encourage me. Why? Because when I believe that I have power to change my own life, I have power over my life, I have power to take control over the circumstances in my life, now I start looking for the realities. I start seeking the truth. I'm like, yo, I want to know more truths about myself, because if I find out I'm out of shape, I know I have the power to get in shape. If I find out my relationship is trash, I have power to improve my relationships. If I'm willing to accept that my finances are garbage, I have the power to change my finances, right? And so the two options is, one, ignore it or accept it. But we'll only accept it once we understand that we have the power to change it. And so whoever is watching this, if you desire to change your reality and live a different reality, first we have to believe that we have the power to change, and then accept the circumstances that we are currently in. Because a human being that has the power to change and accepts where they're at will do whatever it takes to create that change that you want to see in the world. And so, yeah, I think, as always, that's all I got.